20 years. She founded the Cannabis Action Network way back in the 80s, right? She opened one of the first medical cannabis dispensaries in Berkeley, became the Berkeley Patients Group, which became really one of the best in the country and one of the first in showing everybody how to do it right and how to have community involvement. She's a High Times Freedom Fighter of the Year. You understand? She has dedicated her life and her heart to repealing prohibition, to legalizing marijuana, and to advocating for medical marijuana. I've heard her, she was at a Berkeley City Council meeting one time and she gave him hell. I'm serious. Please, put your hands together, show your love. Please welcome accepting a Lifetime Achievement Award, Debby Goldsberry!
Thank you to Tim and Sam and everyone working so hard in this event. It's an honor, and thank you all the friendly faces in the crowd. I'm quite nervous, so thank you. I got involved in this 27 years ago, back at the Midwest Marijuana Harvest Festival. Anyone been to that one? Ben Mazel, the Yippies coordinated an annual festival back in the Midwest. And so in 1986, I went to the festival. Well, Ronald Reagan became president shortly after that, decided he was going to squash out all the smoke-ins, if you can imagine. They've been going on ever since the Yippies and Dennis Perone, Ben Mazel, and other people started the smoke-ins. They've been going on forever. Well, what happened to me is 27 years ago, when Ronald Reagan said he was going to come and crush out all the smoke-ins. At the next smoke-in I went to after attending this beautiful smoke-in, the cops pulverized my friend. They beat him to a bloody pulp for cannabis. I couldn't even believe it. It was such a shock to me. When the very first time I tried cannabis, it changed my life for the better. I couldn't even believe it. Day one, I was sold. To find out that such a beautiful herb, my friend could get beaten to a bloody pulp, it changed my life. And I realized on my college campus, they had scrubbed it out of the library. They weren't even teaching the doctors about hemp as medicine anymore. And me and my friends realized way back then, Rick Frommer, where are you at? Rick Frommer and Steve D'Angelo and Andrew D'Angelo and a bunch of other people, Andre Special and Jack Herrera. We formed the Hemp Tour and the Cannabis Action Network, and we realized 25 years ago, if we wanted people to know about hemp, we were going to have to take the word to them. We had to go to the universities, and we had to go to the big towns, and we had to bring the hemp cloth and the hemp shirts and the hemp fiber. We would put LB Musica in a van, a VW van with no heat. She's one of the people that get medical marijuana from the federal government. We take her everywhere. They go, cannabis is a dangerous drug. No, cannabis is a medicine. And everyone that we touched one-on-one about this issue, they changed their mind. And we did thousands of events during the hemp tour. It was so fun. I don't know if people were there, but that was a good time. What we realized then, in planting the seeds, is that it was going to take our work to change people's minds. Well, Cannabis Action Network moved to Berkeley, California, thanks to people like Dr. Todd Nicoria and Ed Rosenthal. Ed's probably in the room, and Jane Rosenthal and Dennis Perone. And we got involved in Prop 215, and we realized, wait, our vote actually counts. Do you guys remember when you realize that your vote counts? It's kind of a big deal, right? Who would have thought? And so we won Prop 215, and then you know what? We did a local initiative. We lost by 199 votes, and we demanded a recount. How fun is that? And we won our recount. And then once the city council in San Jose passed a really bad law, so we did a referendum, and we won the referendum, affirming that, yeah, there's a system of checks and balances in this country, but you know who's really in charge? It's not the president or the Congress or the courts, it's the people, and it's us, but only if we exercise our rights. We found out in Berkeley, California, the voters had passed a law making cannabis legal, but guess what? When we pass the laws, the government doesn't implement the laws for us. We have to implement the laws ourselves. So we opened a Dutch-style coffee shop in Berkeley, California back in 1997. So much fun, oh my God. But you know what we realized? If we were going to succeed, we had to be good neighbors, and we had to be sensible cannabis users, and we had to know our rights because the police were coming after us every turn. And in fact, shortly after that, our coffee shop did get busted. But we fought the case, and we found out the police lied on the search warrant. So we won the case, and we sued the police, and we won that. Because the people are in charge of this democracy.
Woo!
And then we started the Berkeley Patients Group with Jim McClelland, who didn't make it this far with us. Jim passed on a few years ago because we needed to get the patients off the battlefield, and we needed to get medical cannabis to the people that needed it. So Jim was a master grower, and we built Berkeley Patients Group on one principle, which you all know, the best darn cannabis that you can get on the planet. That's what this is about. So Berkeley Patients Group. And I won't keep going on and on, but shortly after that, our friend Jimmy got busted by the DEA. And I'll tell you what, back then, this is the late 90s, we weren't very sophisticated. And we didn't know our rights. And we didn't know when the police came that we had to say the magic words, I choose to remain silent and I want to see my lawyer. We didn't know how to say it. And we didn't know how to say, I do not consent to this search. And they took down Jimmy. They put an agent here and an agent here, and they said, we're going to take you to jail for life. He was 60. We're going to take your wife to jail. It was crazy. And Jimmy didn't know, and he snitched on Ed Rosenthal. Do you guys remember that? Oh. And so we realized we had our work to do. And we formed Americans for Safe Access. And we realized if we were going to take control, we had to understand the Constitution. And we had to know our rights. And we had to know how to choose to remain silent. We had to know how to demand our rights. And we had to know, I see some of my lawyers, love you guys, in the house. We had to know how to ask for our lawyer. Well, what else do I want to say? They tried to get me to narc out Ed Rosenthal. I couldn't believe that. The DEA showed up at my door one day saying, we're here so that you can testify on our behalf against Ed Rosenthal. Are you kidding me? I'm going to testify against the guru of ganja? Are you out of your mind? And we told them, no way, and 15 of us refused. And at the end of it all, they put us on trial. They said, you're guilty of civil contempt of court. They put us all on trial. But they said, your sentence is this. If sending you to jail will make you testify against Ed Rosenthal, we're sending you to jail. But if it won't, you're free to go home. So you know what? Standing up for your principles is important in this democracy. Right now, I'm working to legalize cannabis in California. I work with the Coalition for Cannabis Policy Reform. We gotta get it done. We have to get it done. If you want your voice heard, you gotta put your voice and your money into the campaign.
Woo!
You can find us at legalizecalifornia.org. The last thing I'll say before I go is that Jack Herrera inspired me. Hemp can save the planet. Let's remember that this is a peace movement. This is a movement of love, and that we're here to save the planet. And let's fulfill our original mission of 25, 27, 30, 40 years to save the planet with cannabis. I love you all. Thank you so much.
We love you, Debbie!